Hi guys, Brett Manning here, trustee of the new Aussie Constitution Trust. If you're new to this channel, the new Aussie Constitution is a proposed draft replacement for the Australian Constitution. It has been developed to provide an opportunity for us to discuss what a replacement constitution for Australia might look like. Now, the news this week is that I've received a letter from the Honourable Matt Thistlethwaite, who is the Assistant Minister for Republic in the current Australian government. The letter doesn't say a lot, as you might imagine, but it does reiterate the government's position and priority about putting the Indigenous voice to Parliament to referendum as a first step, and that'll be their focus for this term of government. Previously, the Prime Minister has said that if Labor wins a second term in government, they'll then look at putting a Republican model forward for consideration at referendum. But potentially that means that if this government remains in power, we're at least 4 years away from a decision on the bigger picture. And while I recognise that it is high time that we made a decision on an Indigenous voice to Parliament, and that is an important referendum, I am concerned that we are just pushing off the decision about having an Australian head of state, which I think is actually a very important decision for Australia going forward. So what occupies my mind is what can we do with the next 4 years to ensure that we develop an excellent draft replacement for the current Australian Constitution. As I've said in videos before, I cannot see that making a few minor tweaks and leaving everything up to Parliament is a good idea. We need fundamental change to the Australian Constitution, and this is our opportunity to do so. But how can we do that? How can we get Australians interested in talking about the Australian Constitution when changing it's not on the agenda yet at a government level? And let's face it, it's not the most exciting subject on the planet. And for most Australians, the current Constitution appears to be functioning correctly. But as I've also said in previous videos, there are some serious issues there which will go pear-shaped one day, and we need to make sure that we've fixed the Constitution before that happens. Now, the new Aussie Constitution Trust developed the draft of the new Aussie Constitution to provide a point of discussion. So it's a full draft of a potential replacement document. And this gives an opportunity for people to comment and make suggestions. And while I do get feedback and I do get comments, and I really appreciate the effort that some people have gone to provide their ideas and their thoughts on the draft new Aussie Constitution, it's not enough. We are not getting a broad enough response from the community for it to be statistically meaningful. And the other thing I find is quite often when people write to me or contact me about a particular clause in the proposed new Aussie Constitution, they may not necessarily understand the reason that that was put there. And when I explain that to people, quite often they change their opinion. So we need some method that we can explain the key points of a proposed draft replacement, but with both sides of an argument on each of the key points. Explain to people. And I'm wondering if we can use technology to do that. Perhaps what we need is to break the Constitution down into 100 different issues and then prepare perhaps a short video for and against particular drafting in the Constitution. Present both sides of the story, and then allow people who view that video to give their views on what they think the result should be. If we had the support of government, we could do this on a national basis in much the same way that people do jury duty. People could be asked a series of questions, watch a series of videos, and express their opinion on which approach should be taken at the end of those videos. It's important that they explain the logic behind both sides of an argument so that people can make a good decision. Anyway, that's my food for thought today, is how best can we get feedback from ordinary Australians about the issues that will go together to make up a replacement Australian Constitution. I'm going to give that some more thought. Thanks for your time. If you'd like to know more about the draft proposed new Aussie Constitution, please go to the website at www.newaussieconstitution.com.au. Thanks for your time.